Welcome to In the Spotlight, a marketer's toolkit special where we highlight members of the toolkit, what they're doing in their SaaS, how they're using the toolkit. You're going to get an inside look at the back end of the marketer's toolkit and at the same time, get some maybe great ideas for your business as well. If you're on the fence of joining the marketer's toolkit, or you're in there and want to see more features, or you're just someone out there that are looking for ideas for your business, you are in the right spot. My name is Virginia Schauer, and I'm your host. Today, I'm joined by the brilliant Will Winter, the COO of Agent CRM, a company that mastered the art of pivoting, purely a marketing agency, and moved into SaaS and now serves thousands of insurance clients with cutting-edge automation solutions. Will is going to share how Agent CRM scaled by leveraging Go High Level, the marketer's toolkit, of course, and an unstoppable mindset for problem solving and team building. So buckle up for insights on automation, leadership, and the secret to scaling fast without losing your mind or your hair. So let's get started.
Agent CRM, we focused on insurance kind of by mistake. We ended up having Alex Browning specifically had a 20-year history of marketing. And when COVID came around, there was a big shift in the insurance space. You could now sell over the phone or over the internet. Previously, regulations were about being in person. And we had this huge history of marketing, which we did some blogging about and sharing results, and some of it was insurance. When COVID happened, all these insurance agents found us online organically. We started to notice, oh my goodness, there's a lot of insurance agents that need what we're doing, which originally was just marketing. And we did something called the giveaway funnel, where we launched an ad for you to a landing page, pre-qualifying questions, but largely, hey, you want to win a free Outback Steakhouse gift card? Give us your contact details. And we were using 5 or 6 different tools for the fulfillment of the marketing campaign. And we used ClickFunnels, a few other things as well. And someone on our team said, hey, Alex, you need to check this out. Go High Level could probably reduce the number of tools we need. So we ended up getting Agent CRM was the thing we white labeled it as, but it was originally only the fulfillment engine for the marketing campaign. And over the next year or so, we started to realize people don't just need marketing, they actually want the CRM to manage their leads as well. And that was the beginning of a shift towards being a SaaS company rather than a marketing company. We still help people with their marketing a little, more like we work with you, but we've completely pivoted our business model to SaaS instead of marketing, and to insurance agents specifically, because we just had this whole organic shift because of what people were coming to us. We didn't say, hey, we want to be an insurance software. It was like, oh my goodness, I guess this is what people want and there's a need. Let's pivot. And now Agent CRM, we've been doing this, I think one of the first white labels on Go High Level, because we jumped in right away. We saw this tool that was what we needed. And fortunately, we've hitched our cart to the right horse, because Go High Level is continuing to develop, and now they're the giant that they are. But originally Go High Level, if you looked at the screenshots or you looked at the videos of the original stuff, it was powerful back then. But compared to where it is now, we're glad that we're on the SS GHL for our business. That's kind of the background of what we're doing today.
That's awesome. I can vouch that I started, I guess, in looking and doing dabbling in GHL, not getting fully into it in late 2020, 2021. I think my subscription started in January 2021, and it really has exponentially gotten smoother. There's the features and everything are just well built now.
Yes.
And speaking of which, layering, you still must have layers of things like the marketer's toolkit. And so what brought you to the marketer's toolkit?
Yeah, for us, marketer's toolkit, we were aware of it, but sometimes when you're in your business, you feel like, oh, I don't have time to dive into these things. So you kind of just let those things float on the sidelines. And then we entered into a partnership with someone who they wanted to fulfill their snapshot and have it be supported on our agency, which they were using the Marketer's Toolkit for. It forced us to, if we're going to have this partnership, we need Marketer's Toolkit. I guess it's time, let's start a subscription so that we can make this partnership work. Partnership didn't even work out, but we ended up, it was such a long process with this. And the one takeaway was now we're using Marketer's Toolkit, which unlocked, I think for me, if I was to tell people why should you get Marketer's Toolkit, the two things are, one, everyone's using GHL these days. And so if you want to be competitive, you need to have the tools that are, the pioneering tools, the best of the best. And Marketer's Toolkit adds on to GHL some core feature upgrades that GHL doesn't have. So if you want your audience to have better features, if you want your business to be competitive, you got to use the latest tools that are out there. The other piece is more on the operational side, where as you start to scale, you experience the magnification of certain problems. There's some issues behind the scenes in support and account setup and onboarding. And when you have, 5, 10 people, it's okay. You can do it. But then you get, 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, 300, on and on and on. For us now, we have, 10, sometimes 15, 20, as many as 20 new trials per day. And to set up accounts at that scale, it has been such a nightmare. And so we've had to solve these problems that GHL doesn't have the solution for. And some of these things that we've discovered, things like the custom values updater from Marketer's Toolkit, and then things like the contact buttons with forms have been so huge because we can create a smoother, standardized process that you save with some of these Marketer's Toolkit features. You save 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 20 minutes here, 2 minutes there. And multiplied by the number of users you have, that's been such a reclaiming of our team's time through many of these features.
That's great. Do you have, by chance, would you be open to share your screen and share with us one of those features?
Yeah, definitely. Now let me see. So there's a few things about it's not just having access to the tools. You also need the team. If there's one tip I could leave our listeners, it's the tech, but it's also having people who know how to integrate it. Now, you guys have some optimization assistance, but what you guys have been awesome with Marketer's Toolkit is providing the tech that can be used in a few different ways or integrated in a few different ways. What we have here is our version of a custom value updater. And with GHL, there's a few different ways you can do it, but the best option is with Marketer's Toolkit. And what we have is a form. So this is a funnel, iframe funnel, that every single account has access to. And it's a funnel with a form hosted in our main account, but everyone has access to this customizer. So what they do when they're set up is we tell them, fill in your information, fill in your branding. So we've got here the logos, the brand color. Imagine I'm coming with my logo. I choose my file. Some of this is HTML code, thanks to ChatGPT. So we're taking pieces. We have an amazing team where if you get the right team, back to my point, they can piece together the tools and it unlocks new ideas. And then, we could do this and we could take that Marketer's Toolkit feature and plug it in this way. It's all the pieces together that have got us where we are. So let's just take a different one here, Hurley Insurance. So here's a logo that I use as a demo. Here's the let's click gray and turquoise.
I like how you have these colors here too, so you can actually see the color.
This is all ChatGPT here, this piece specifically.
And it extracts the color for them.
It extracts the color from the logo. And then you can see here, this was a huge piece, brand call to action, main. And then we choose file. Let's make sure that we match them here. Oh, no, that's a different one. So this ability here to upload graphics in a form that's hosted on another site and synchronize it with, like, behind the scenes, there's so much nerdy things going on that Tom and team has done an amazing job. So upload the logo, hit next. So different pages on our customizer. It's not just one form, it's multiple forms on multiple funnel steps, and they see it as the customizer. But now what we've done is every single website, every single email is now instantly, let's check this out. You can see that teal that we just did and Hurley's Insurance. So the pre-made websites and emails are now instantly customized, every single asset. Now you see your
Wow.
testimonials. If I was to do testimonials, same thing. And for some people like A2P, we give them this website, they fill in the customizer, and we attach a domain for them so that all they have to do is submit the link. And it's got, even the form is using the customizer. Super professional right out of the box. And this wouldn't be possible without the Tools for Marketers Toolkit. Because this pushes and references custom values. Like if I go into the custom values, that's where it's going to push this. And it shows the previous submission, which is huge. So they can see what they've entered in or not. That was one of the major features here.
That's huge. It is absolutely huge to be able to do that without having to code it in.
Now, some of this stuff is so obvious that these kinds of tools should be CRM basic, but High Level's version of, I believe they have like your brand kit or like your logo. It doesn't implement well, and is not a streamlined process. Now, what we've had to do is we use this tool, and then we have to build things like, if I showed you the website quickly, behind the scenes. Now we've had to build intelligently. It's not just, hey, use the customizer and you're good. You have to take these tools and strategically weave them together to create a streamlined system. So the website behind the scenes, there's so much work. You can see here, custom value. This button here, if I found the color itself is a custom value instead of color.
Right.
So all of these different pieces have to weave together, and we're creating shortcuts, or we're creating a fast lane to clients or users getting up and running. The speed to value is the huge challenge in the software business, especially Go High Level, where it feels like the tech demands are already high enough as it is. But then there's also regulations that come out like A2P and TCPA. And for us in insurance, we've got 20 other acronyms that they have to remember about CMS regulations. That's for like Medicare and ACA. They have their own regulations. And so the bar feels like it keeps getting higher and higher and higher. And we have to find tools like Marketers Toolkit that will allow us to navigate these changing regulations or tech hoops that people have to jump through. How can we get them even faster results, get them set up faster, get them easier access to the system?
Yes.
That's where Marketers Toolkit has been a huge piece of that.
Absolutely. Can you talk to us more about what you did with custom values and A2P registration?
Yeah. Big thing with GHL, there's so many partners, there's so many businesses that it's been cool how a whole ecosystem of businesses has evolved from Go High Level as a business. So our A2P snapshot, it started originally with a snapshot we got from Extendly. Actually, they were one of the first few people that really mass produced a great A2P snapshot. Super basic. It was like a banner. It was a form, 3 lines of text and another bottom banner. But for those who have been with us, 2023 was when A2P started, and it feels like every 3 or 4 months A2P changes. So what you as a business, whoever's watching, has to remember is that you got to stay up to date, and you got to continue. Oh my goodness, the number of tweaks you got to make. And we refresh our assets every time. We're constantly checking what causes rejections and what do we need to adjust in our snapshots, so that things like the forms, that's huge, where you need to have specific things. I showed some of them previously. Even stupid things like, maybe you know this, Virginia, but the phone custom field, it cannot be a required custom field.
Right. I just found
That's
that
the
out
stupidest
like a
thing
month
ever.
ago or so. And I'm like, why does this keep getting rejected? And it was because it was a required field.
But it's so stupid. This is one of the things that makes you pull your hair out trying to do marketing and supporting users, where you really have to learn and educate yourself, because if you can't do it right, then your whole agency or your agents are screwed.
Absolutely.
So things like that, things like for custom values, if we're talking about how the toolkit integrates, and I've been talking especially about the custom values because this is one of the most valuable features for agencies, especially for us that we've experienced. But the bar for A2P is higher than ever now, and a lot of agents don't have compliant websites. They don't know the little things like phone number can't be required, or you have to have all these checkboxes, or you have to have a terms and conditions link. So what we've done is we've created what I showed you, super polished professional website. And if they fill in the customizer, they have something that is A2P kosher. So
Yeah, that's
things
great.
like terms and conditions, we give them pre-made terms and conditions pages. It integrates with their branding so that when someone from the campaign registry, they're the people who review it, when they go to the link and they say, is this a legit person? They're going to see a website that is super polished and super refined because it's got their face. That's another custom value. We have a section where it's an image of their face, and that's also in the customizer. Upload a profile picture, upload your logo, upload your brand colors. What is your name? What is your business name? If they fill in the customizer, the website's ready to go. So they don't have to design the website. I mean, the other thing too, I don't have to design their website. I don't have to go in and set up. All I have to do is say, hey, I've got a new user. So here's our process. A new user signs up. They tell us what insurance product they're doing, and it creates a ticket and it says, hey, Obi, go and connect a domain. We use a subdomain. We've purchased a whole handful of domains. We connect a subdomain to the funnel that we've built for them, and we just tell them, go fill in the customizer. And when they go through the training on A2P, we teach them, just copy this link. Boom, you're done. Just make sure you copy these text examples, shortcut. And our success rate, huge for A2P. We're talking super recent March, everyone was freaking out because A2P changed again. And if you looked on the high level stuff, everyone was just pulling their hair out because it felt like no one was getting applications. And we had a little stint of that, but we learned quickly, we pivoted, and the site that we showed you was one of the reasons why we were able to come out of that nightmare zone of A2P real quick and start to see really strong, consistent results again.
I think that's wonderful. And one thing you pointed out is like you have to be nimble. You have to be able to pivot quickly. And it sounded like from the beginning of your agency's conception, you pivoted and pivoted until you found, oh, insurance is what's needed. So that's just so important. And I think that when people come into SaaS, sometimes they think, oh, it'll be residual income, and I can like pull my hands off of it.
No. Pick your niche. There's a great quote. The niches are in the riches, or the riches are in the niches. But the other thing you'll have to consider is what is the knowledge of your users. You got to support them. Sometimes you got to baby them. And if you've ever had frustration answering the conference we were at last week, someone came up to us and they said, Will, I just want to thank your team so much because they have so much grace answering stupid questions. Because you get users who don't even know how to make a phone call. And it's like, there's the phone button. But for them, it's learning. It's a learning curve. I get that. But we also have, for our niche, insurance, the reported failure rate for insurance agents is 92%. 92% of people who get an insurance license will fail within the first few years. So that might tell you about the challenges of the insurance industry. It also might tell you about the work ethic of the kind of people who try insurance. It might tell you about the discipline or tech knowledge. There's a bunch of things that it could give you clues on. But the takeaway is that our users, a lot of them really rookie, don't know how to run a business, potentially don't have 50% of our users have never had a CRM before, period. So that's where it comes back to using tools like Marketer's Toolkit, where we can use features that allow them to fast track their setup, because they lose steam if they're in the setup phase too long. And so we want to use all of these different tools we can, support services. We've used Extendly in the past. All these things, you daisy chain together your GHL tech stack or your GHL partners, and you make sure that you're using these tools so that you can help users and also help yourself is the other side too.
Yes, exactly. And I was thinking about that setup piece of the puzzle and making sure they're set up for success with the Marketer's Toolkit. Do you use things like buttons or set up the homepage to be your own homepage instead of the dashboard? Or are you utilizing it for maybe the opportunities section? How are you using it for their setup?
For their setup, we have a few different tools. The customizer is the big one. The other piece is a tool we've integrated that we had to build out as well ourselves. So we've got this conglomeration of things because really for those who are watching trying to build their agency, it's about solving problems. You find a problem, you solve a problem. And Marketers Toolkit will have a lot of the missing pieces. One of the pieces we needed for setup was also a checklist form that integrates with, maybe I can share that as well, actually.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, let's see here. Share entire screen. So here's another tip. You've got to determine as well what are you charging and what are you able to provide at that level. Can you see here activator? Is that visible?
Yeah.
Okay. For us, our industry, a lot of agents, insurance agents, they're either given a free CRM by their agency. Now, free, it is what it sounds like. You don't get much for it, but their mindset is a CRM should be free, or there's a lot of really low cost ones. So for us, we've chosen to sell at the GHL minimum advertised price, which is currently $97. We have to determine what level of service we can give at that level. We have a lot of support channels, but for some of people who are watching, you can afford to do a lot more hands-on work because you're charging massive setup packages. But as much as possible for us in our level, we're trying to create a seamless setup experience. So that means the customizer where you go do it, here's your homework, fill it in, it's super easy. Now, if it's one-on-one experience, you can charge top dollar for that. We can't because of our industry. But what we've done here is we've created training modules where we've broken it into phases. And this is a form that synchronizes with a contact profile in another sub account. So that required some development and API work because techie for a second, the local storage will save this checkbox for 2 days, but then it will vanish. So I can't see my past progress. Oh. So we wanted something where they could track progress, and what they would do is watch a training video, and we host this on YouTube. So they can go in here and then they could actually go.
Module thing, this pop out is the Marketer's Toolkit.
This one is not specifically. So
oh, okay.
I talked to Tom, I'm like, Tom, I need this. And he's like, I know, I'm getting on it. But sometimes I'm like, Tom, I feel like I'm harassing him so much. But really, it's like, you got to solve a problem for your business. And there's a lot of things I don't know that the Marketer's Toolkit already includes. This was one that was super important to us. And there's some things that you got to push the tech to see, how far you can really get it.
Right.
Like, I mean, this here required some work. So I'm sure at some point this will come out from Marketer's Toolkit as well. But the ability to use a pop-up in the automation section, this is actually a huge tech challenge for some reason. Often pop-ups will disappear when you go to the automation section.
Yes.
So following along, there's so many things you got to figure out. What is the problem I'm trying to solve? For us, it was how do I effectively guide users on how to use our system and self-serving options.
I hear you. Even GHL's support button would disappear and automate in workflows sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, even their stuff disappears.
Yeah. Or you get other support widgets where stuff is blocking stuff. It's always like, find a problem, solve a problem. But as you mentioned, some people think, hey, SaaS is running in the background and I can, collect some money. We're always trying to figure out what is the next thing we need to figure out. How do we optimize? You want to get to that next level, and you want to serve your clients well too, which means you're always innovating. Big feature I want to give a shout out to, especially because it's more recent, is the pop-up feature. I don't know if you guys have had a conversation on one of these interviews yet about that, but
no,
one of the killer features is the ability to shove a pop-up in front of everyone or segmented audiences screen. So they log into the CRM, and then it's like, hey, did you know? And you can point them. You look at email open rates. If you can get like 50% open rate, you're decently happy. But the ability to have every single person who logs in see that pop-up for a designated number of times. On a marketing level, 2 years ago, we had our best. We used a very dumbed down version of this from someone else. You guys have taken this such a next level. But we did one of our best Black Friday seasons by using a pop-up, because we could, 4 times, show this 4 times to all users, and an image will click to a link, so you can actually say, hey guys, check this out. Or if A2P comes out, that was actually the original thing a couple of years ago, was, my goodness, A2P is going to be a nightmare. This was July 2023. And we're like, how do we make sure everyone knows about this? Because this will shut down your texting if you don't do it. And again, another situation where you're like, this is obvious that I should have this feature. Come on, GHL. Like, why don't you have this yet? And they've got, a million other features. So thank you, GHL. But some of these features that we as agency owners feel like, man, this is so essential. And then partners like you guys have filled in the gaps with what feels like it should be obvious. There's so many essential tools that you guys like fill in those gaps for us with. But for us now, we can say, hey, target people with this specific segment and show this pop up to this audience, whether it's marketing, whether it's timely news. If we're trying to push them to calls, we do group coaching calls, and we're trying to increase the show rate for that. So we can show these pop-ups and actually say, hey guys, check it out. We're not trying to harass them. So you use these tools wisely. With great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
But the ability to direct people's attention strategically to the right notices, calls to action, and more. Yeah, of course, text, of course, emails, but the pop-up feature has been one of the best ways to grab attention for our entire audience or segmented users to push them in the right direction.
That's awesome. Yes, the announcements, like having those announcements where you want them to be, and then you want to see the announcements is key. Thank you for bringing that up, because it is a key feature that we want to have out. So thank you for that. Is there any other feature that you want to point out? Do you have like contact buttons that you use, or
contact buttons? Definitely. I'm just going to bring
anything
up an account,
special you do with
again.
your login, like your little.
We've done a login page modification through another coder. We haven't explored what you guys have yet. I'd love to dive deeper in. But this comes back to optimization. I'm missing a lot of stuff that I know you guys.
Yeah, we'll have to get on another call. I'll send you my link for that. Totally. Okay,
let's talk about contact buttons, because that's one of the things that I think there are some versions of this out there, but I believe that Marketer's Toolkit has the best iteration of this. Now, client features, you could use contact buttons for client features, like, hey, click this button to add a tag, which can trigger a workflow, or click this button to open a pop-up, which you can fill in a form. We've released some features to our users, but the biggest value for me, let me share my screen again, we'll jump back here. Here's another one too. I believe this blurring privacy feature is also from you guys, right?
Yes, it is.
If you're recording YouTube videos, YouTube makes me pull my hair out. I keep saying that, pull my hair out. SaaS appears to be a business where you lose your hair. You upload a video and it's all dummy data. Like you can upload fake contact lists, but even if it's fake, YouTube will still flag it.
Oh, that's funny.
We're creating all these contact, we're showing off features and just trying to educate users, and then YouTube flags it. Stupid. Okay, so we'll look here at a contact. Now, one of the challenges I faced for our team was inconsistency in following SOPs. And our team has a written documentation of what should happen. For example, after you do a one-on-one call, send the link to them. Make sure they have the recording link. And that wasn't consistently getting done. So what we did was we created a contact button form, waiting for post call tracking. Now it automatically is going to pull in the contact information. So I even hide the email because I don't care about the email it's going to submit, which is awesome. So Alyssa does a call. She tells us how many hours we charge. We sell banks of hours. So if she used up 1 hour, and then she pastes the Loom link, and then she can leave some recordings. And then if there was homework for them, yes, list the homework, send reminders. So now my team has a really easy place to remember, and it's part of their process. Just fill in the form. You don't have to remember, go here and update the hours here and fill in this custom field and change this. You fill in the form and it triggers the emails. It updates the hours on file. It sends off the link. If there was homework, it's going to list that in the email. And in different places, different actions or different types of calls, even support. Simple things that we can do is sales. We do sales fulfillment through here as well. And we say, hey, check off the box, which package did they buy? And we just train our team, use the form, and we make it simple for them. You could feel like your team is dropping the ball. Your team is a bunch of idiots. Or you could say, hey, maybe I made it too difficult for them. Maybe I'm asking too much, and I can create shortcuts. I can create simplified processes. Now, I've been playing around with different things here. So there's lots more things that we're trying to push the tech for. What can we use these for? Not just, hey, it's a contact button with a form, but how can I integrate that with an automation that can do this and can trigger that? Using these tools together can streamline your process.
What's great is that you can do this per location.
Yep.
And so your
Huge.
location is here. So you have these buttons up here, but not necessarily all of your sub accounts has those buttons.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we've experimented with different features for different accounts. Now, one thing you again have to weigh out, I have all these features from Marketer's Toolkit. What am I going to charge to customize it? The custom work is what you have to evaluate, because I can do custom buttons on every single sub account, or what am I going to charge to do that? Or for us, the way we do it is we serve insurance agents. We have agencies with multiple agents, and they say, hey, here's some of the things I want. And they pay a bigger package. So we're willing to set up special buttons based on, a group sort of location. That's like a location is what we call them in Marketer's Toolkit, right? Mm-hmm. So they might have a few extra buttons, but we're charging the right amount. So you're going to want to feature this into your thing. What buttons should everyone get? Or what buttons, or what do I want to charge to set up these extra features for people? Those are things that we've had to figure out, like, okay, now I've got new options, and what do I do with it strategically?
Exactly. Yeah. You have the location and then the location groups in the customizer. So you can you can make one location group, just have one sub account in it, or you can put that location group for maybe a SaaS plan. One SaaS plan has this, or one customized group of people that are sub agencies under another agency or something like that.
Yeah. And even sub account specific logos, that's been pretty cool too. This is kind of funny with some businesses. Some of it's branding. Some of it's a little bit vanity, I assume, where people want their own logo on the sub account. And it means a lot to them. And it has become, for some of our plans, a selling feature where we actually give them the option, especially for agencies who pay a bigger setup package. We will put your logo, and that's the ability, we talked about contact buttons, but there's a lot of things you can tie to clusters or location groups, location IDs. So you say all of these people are a part of this agency, make sure they get these buttons, make sure they get this logo, bunch of other cool things you can customize on a group location basis, which has been huge. Definitely for us, like in agencies, those represent, if I'm selling one-off accounts, that's great, but I want to collect clusters of contracts. I want, one grouping, we had a guy that brought us 70 accounts. Just one sale brought us 70 accounts. So they're all in his agency, and he wants to give his branding and reinforce his business in there. Potentially wouldn't have gotten that opportunity if we hadn't been able to sell on this idea of, hey, you can actually brand this the way you want.
It's so valuable and inexpensive if you think about, like, Marketer's Toolkit is like pennies compared to the value that you get.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to try to sell this thing for you. I know that people who are watching this may or may not, if you're watching this and you have Marketer's Toolkit, you're going to find some ideas to implement. If you're not watching this, maybe I need to start getting commission from you guys. I have no monetary incentive, but I'm such a believer in Marketer's Toolkit. And, like, the amount of time, whether it's new features that you can add that will increase what you can sell, or for our team, probably per month, we're saving 2 to 3 times the subscription cost in man hours. So Amazing. How much time is it taking you to do those things? I would have to pay, VA, you could pay a VA between, $6 to $12 an hour US, multiply that by the tasks that have to be done that could be offloaded to things like a customizer.
Yeah.
Setting up A2P, that takes time. And if you're able to create these shortcuts, you're saving or you're redeeming time that you can reinvest in other things. A2P is such a waste of time, but it has to be done. And if we have these tools that allow us to save time, create shortcuts, can create consistency with SOPs, all that stuff, it's a no-brainer choice for us. No, we love you guys and what Marketers Toolkit's doing, how it's helping us scale.
Thank you so much for coming on. I have another question for you because, I mean, you obviously are so incredibly successful in your SaaS over the past years, making it what it is today. What are you the most proud of that you've done in your business?
I think for me, it's team. My background, I actually was pursuing pastoral ministry. I went to work in a church. And I met Alex doing ministry school. And at the end of ministry school, Alex said, "Hey, I want all your time." I was doing a little bit of part-time stuff for him. I had a scripted webinar and I had to wrestle with this because it felt like a fork in the road where I was going this way. And Alex was saying, "Hey, here's the red carpet. I want you to be my COO. Come with me on the business adventure." And I had to wrestle with that for a bit, but I felt like this door was being opened for me. And I had to see, okay, what do I do? How do I feel? Like I've got a sense of calling, like God has called me to invest in people. And I don't care about insurance. I don't care about insurance agents. I don't care about this industry. But I started to see my ability to develop people. Dan Martell has a great quote. If anyone is in the SaaS industry, hopefully you know the name Dan Martell. He says, "Build the people will build the business." And we found that our ability to do big things is connected to the people on our team. The customizer that I showed you was a result of finding and training the right people and learning how to lead them effectively. Because an idea starts here and then Shiraz adds his piece and I add my piece. And then of course we have to pull Tom in because we're stuck and we don't know how to do the next piece. But leading people and developing people, I would hope and I'd like to believe that businesses could be greatness incubators or greatness factories where we find these people. And a lot of the GHL world, we are working with people in Pakistan, we're working with people in the Philippines. Maybe it's a North American employee as well, but you find people and you give them opportunities and you train and support them and they become something bigger than they ever thought they could be. Training them to believe in themselves and training them how to lead calls effectively, how to teach and communicate. When I die and end my days on this earth, I'm not going to look back and say, I did some cool tech stuff. I'm going to say Astrid is a dynamic leader because of what I was able to do with her. Or Alyssa, I helped to unlock her potential. Or these sorts of things that you got to find the right people and train them. I can't even do much of the Marketers Toolkit implementation anymore, but I've got someone like Mohammed on my team who he is brilliant. He's a genius and we keep giving him opportunities and we keep pulling him into things. The people piece of the business, you got to find out how the heck do you hire right? That's a challenge on its own. And then how do you train and support and develop people that will help grow your business, but also it's a whole lot more fulfilling when you look at the people as the outcome. I want to build big business. I want to make a ton of money, but I hope that I can make a difference in people's lives, specifically our team, for one.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. Is there a place where people follow you for tips and things like that? Do you do any of that?
Definitely check out our YouTube channel, Agent CRM. You can find a lot of things that we've done. Maybe you're going to take inspiration for how we set up some of our automations. For me personally, Will J. Winter on Instagram is my handle. And I'm even just rolling out training. Like how do I lead teams? Because a big part is how do you train people at a higher level? If you've got someone taking phone calls and they're not communicating effectively, that's your reputation as a business owner. And where do you find the resources? My hope is to create resources for training people on some of the skills, honestly, you wish you learned in school, but I don't know what they're teaching us these days. So leadership skills, that's what I'm personally all about. Will J. Winter on Instagram.
Awesome. I know that a lot of people will get so much value out of this and will want to follow you and learn more about your leadership skills. Obviously, you know what you're doing. So
Sometimes I wonder, but
I think we all
we
feel
got help.
chaotic, right? Like we all feel like we don't know what we're doing, but we do. Like honestly, like you do.
Yeah. Yep. You're your
So-
own worst critic. But
You really are. You really are. Well, thank you so much for being on today, and we'll see you around.
yes, thank you so much, Virginia. And for those who are watching, get your dang Marketers Toolkit subscription and use it. I'm preaching to myself too. So many features we need to unlock. Thank you for having me on to share about what we're doing. And
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.